You just heard a little piece on my new guitar, a Batson Troubadour guitar. And I'll play some more pieces at the end of this video, so you can hear the guitar in different settings. So the guitars are made in Korea, but the Batson brothers make custom guitars in Nashville, Tennessee. But their custom guitars start at $9,000, and that's a bit above my pay grade. So they have a cheaper line made in Korea. Models vary a bit. There are 3 models. The sizes are the same, but the wood choices are different. And they range from $1,600 to $1,700. That's an introductory price, so they will go up eventually, I think. I'll put a link in the video description below here to their website, so you can check out exact measurements if you're interested in that. That's what I'm going to tell this video. I'm just going to give you a short review based on my experiences as a player, and a bit aesthetics and playability and sound, of course. So let's start with the headstock. I kind of like the flared design, and those flares come back also here at the end of the fretboard. Even the bridge is flared or curved and lines up with the flare or the curve of the tailpiece. So that's kind of nice. Simple, how should I say, inlays with their logo. Very good tuners. I don't know the provenance. They have the logo of the Batsons inside the tuners, but they tune very well, very precisely. Then we have an overlay in ebony, I think, and a little also a nice designed truss rod cover with the name of the model, the Troubadour, which I think is a bit of a silly name. The Troubadour is a medieval singer-poet who sang about chastity and courtly love, 2 things I think that are a way of the past. I think you should have called it the songster. People like Man's Lipscomb, Let's Belly, those people were songsters in the American tradition. They sang whatever the public demanded. Okay, we have a fretboard also in ebony and a bone saddle. I must say I was not too pleased with the setup, the playability. It was not bad, but it could be improved on because the nut was too high, and you can check that easily yourself. Fret your 6th E string on the 3rd fret and look between the 1st fret and the string. There should be the tiniest of tiny gaps. You should ask yourself, is it really a gap there or not? Then it's okay, but the gap was really visible, so the nut was way too high, and it had its effects on playability in the first position. I also didn't like the way the frets are well constructed. They are U-shaped, and I think it's a bit bumpy. Also the fret ends were not addressed as I really like it. I think if you should slide like that with your thumb and finger, you should not be able to feel fret ends. So I went to a company about 100 kilometers from where I live, and I had the guitar plekked. And I've put also a couple links to the pleck procedure and machine in the video link, in the video description. And in short, what did it do? It cut new slots in the nut, well, deeper slots, so the strings were closer to the fretboard. And it also dressed, ground and leveled all the frets, and the machine does that individually for each string. So let's say the height under the B string might be different than the height under the G string, and so on. That's one of the great strengths of a pleck machine, and it does in about, well, maybe 15 minutes what an experienced luthier would take many hours. So it was an well spent money, and the playability was really improved. By the way, I think all guitars of this price range should be plekked, and most of them are. If you see to Martin, Collins and so on, they all have plek machines to do that work. And for example, Martin has next to each guitar, you'll see a little banner that says enhanced playability. That means it has been plekked. So that was a major improvement on playability. The guitar has a long scale, so the distance between nut and saddle is 25.5 inch, and that took some getting used to for me, because all my other guitars I think are short scaled, except the nylon string there. So and the difference, what is the difference between long and short scale, apart from the distance of course? If you put a capo on the first fret, then you have a guitar with a short scale, and if you remove it, then you have a guitar with a long scale, if it is originally long scaled of course. So that's some taking used to. We have a mahogany neck, and to make it cost effectively, they don't make it from one piece of wood anymore. They simply take a little piece for the heel, one piece for the neck, and you see by the way that the neck here has different color here, it's cut out, so the headstock is another piece, and simply this and this are glued together. When it comes to strength, that's no problem. So, but it has less wastage this way. It's a C shape and very comfortable. Not as those thin tailor necks. So it has some, let's say, meat on it, but not too fat. It's well, something between, I think, Martin and Taylor, and very comfortable. Also a matte satin finish that slides very well. Okay, yeah, I removed, you see a little hole here, I removed the strap button because when I went up and play on the higher frets, it touched my hand here, and I didn't like that, and I don't use it anyway, so I removed it. It was a large strap button. Then, well, you notice probably there's no sound hole at the usual position. And you can read that on the website as well, but the theory is that why make a hole in the thing that produces your sound, the soundboard? The hole reduces the vibrations, and so that's the theory of the Batsons, that we'll put the hole in the side. By the way, the sides here, from here to here, are also reinforced, so that the wood around the sound hole is a bit stronger than just the sides of the guitar. So they went very far in what they call the free vibration of the soundboard, because also you see, I can put a paper between there, the fretboard and the soundboard, there's no touching there, maybe about an inch touches. And also the tailpiece, only a small piece of hair, about maybe a square inch, touches the top. I think it's glued, I'm not sure about that, I can't see it, I think it's glued anyway. The bridge has a large cutout here, and also it has all to do with the volume. If you work with bridge pins, the back of the bridge has to have more volume, and the reinforcement inside the guitar has to be larger, which also reduces the vibrations. What should I say more? Yeah, it has an armrest. Well, it's not a deal breaker for me. If you play with bare arms, you can feel the difference. If you have clothing, a sweater or a hoodie, you're not going to feel that. And if you're sitting down like me, it's just in the crease of your elbow, so I'm not going to throw away all my other guitars because they have a sharp end now. It's nice, but it's not a deal breaker, as I said. Then the finish is a matte finish, and well, aesthetically gloss finish, it's maybe a bit better, but I think it was for the reduced cost that they chose for a matte finish. I think they say somewhere that it also makes the soundboard vibrate more freely, but I don't think that's a big deal. The disadvantage of, I think, a matte finish is it's noisy. You hear? And the way I play, my pinky and ring finger mostly rest on the fretboard, on the soundboard. And if I move around a bit while I play, then it makes noises. And that's why I glued a little piece of plastic here. And you hear the difference. You see? Little detail. That's about it, I guess. Then, well, how does it sound? Compared to other guitars, that's of course very subjective. They say it has a superior sonic sound. I think that's a bit of a commercial exaggeration. It certainly has a different sound. And if I would have to compare it to other guitars, I would say it is between an arch top and a flat top. It has the note separation of an arch top and the balance also of a good quality flat top. So each note you can hear that individually, and that's the reason why I bought the guitar. This is the only rosewood guitar I have. All the others are either maple or mahogany. And rosewoods, which is the back and sides, they have a very detailed sound. And I sold my Greven 00 rosewoods, and so I didn't have a rosewood guitar left, so that's why I bought this one. And it was not, well, breaking my bank, so I just thought, well, not give it a try. So they have the note separation of an arch top. They don't have the boominess of a flat top, and neither the mid-range, the strong mid-range of arch top. So it's in between. They have good things of both types of guitars. The sound is very balanced, not boomy, and balanced and detailed also. And I'm going to play more pieces and all over the neck and with bare fingers and with a thumb pick, so you can really hear the different sounds. Sometimes it kind of reminds me a bit, and I don't mean that in a negative way, of the ovations of the 80s. I used to play a couple of ovations in the 80s, and they had a bit that sound. But this is has much more sustain than the ovations. That's also one of the features. Because of the large soundboard, the sustain is, well, to die for. Okay, then finally, well, I should say I was a kind of disappointed with the way the Batson company, well, treated, not me in person, but you know, I bought it over the internet. So what do? You click on buy now, then you're guided to a page where you fill out your personal details, credit card details, and there was also a large space for note to seller. And I used that, and I've been in contact with them, and they also always replied very briefly, and not all my questions. So I've put in the note to seller that, well, I'm the guy that sent you a couple emails. I've been also in contact with one of their players, a guy called Lance Allen. He's also on YouTube with several of these guitars. He's also done a very good comparison video. And I said he was very helpful in answering my questions, and he even sent me a few sound examples. I also asked for a light setup finger picking, because, well, if I would be a flat picker, I would ask for a different setup, of course. I also changed the strings, by the way. There were light strings on it, and I've put custom lights. Start with a 011 of the Dario phosphor bronze. So I asked for a light setup, finger picking, and I also asked for a truss rod tool, because, well, it's a cheap Allen key, but probably, and I was right about that, in some non-metric size, and they are hard to get in Europe. And I also asked to get me, well, to keep me posted about shipping. So I've done all that, and then you get an automated invoice, a confirmation. with also a confirmation of the note that was added. And then I think about 6 hours later, I got a confirmation email from DHL, the shipper. The parcel has been made ready and it will be with you in a couple of days. And that's all. So I don't think they didn't pay any attention to my note. I think they simply took a box out of the shelf, shoved it over the counter, put a sticker on it and put it on its way. Because, well, I think the setup could have been improved. I don't think they checked that. So that's the way people do business nowadays. I've been in business for 44 years, my own business, and I did it differently. Okay, let's play some more on this Batson guitar. Well, because of the placement of the sound hole, it's better to record this way. And since my microphone is mounted on the top of the camcorder, I have to use this angle to get the best possible sounds.